Our first chapter in IP is Introduction to Computer System. So we all are familiar with computer, and computers are seen everywhere around us in all spheres of life. For all tasks we perform, we depend on computers. Maybe it in the field of education and research, travel and tourism, weather forecasting, social networking, e-commerce, or any other. Computers have now become an indispensable part of our life. The manner in which computers have revolutionized our lives because of their accuracy and speed of performing a job is truly remarkable. Today, no organization can function without a computer. In fact, various organizations are trying to become paper free. That is, all the details, all the data are stored in digital format in the computer rather than in paper as a hard copy, owing to benefits of computers. But the computers of today have evolved over the years from a simple calculating device to the portable high-speed computers that we use today. So computers have different generations. Let us see what are the different generations of computers. Growth in the computer industry is determined by the development in technology. Each phase or generation of computer development is characterized by one or more hardware, software developments that distinctly improved the performance of the computer of that generation. Based on various stages of development, computers can be divided into different generations. So let us see the different generations of computer. So the first generation was during the period 1942 to 1955. This time period is called first generation. So in the first generation, computers used the concept of stored program and were characterized by vacuum tubes. A vacuum tube is a delicate glass device that can control and amplify electronic signals. So this is how a vacuum tube looked like. These vacuum tubes were used in first generation computers. So vacuum tube technology was used in first generation computers. So the first generation computers were made using thousands of vacuum tubes and were the fastest calculating device of that time. These computers were very large in size and consumed lot of electricity and generated lot of heat. UNIVAC 1 was the first electronic computer of this generation and was used for business applications. This is ENIAC and UNIVAC, which are first generation computers. This is how they look like. They are of very large size. Let us see the salient features of first generation computers. They used vacuum tubes to control and amplify electronic signals. They were huge computers, so they occupied lot of space and they consumed high electricity and released large amount of heat. They were unreliable since they were prone to frequent hardware failures. They become unreliable because it is made up of large number of hardwares and each hardware becomes fail due, and this makes the first generation computer unreliable because it occurs frequent hardwares get failed. Then commercial production was difficult because it was much costly. They were very costly and required constant maintenance. Then continuous air conditioning was required because it emitted large amount of heat. So continuous air conditioning was required. Programming was done in machine language, although assembly language also started at the end of this generation. Machine language is a computer understandable language in which all the characters are in the form of binary digits 0 and 1. So the programming was done in machine language. Examples of first generation computers are ENIAC, ADVAC, UNIVAC 1. Next is second generation computers. It were during the period 1955 to 1964. The second generation computers were characterized by transistors. So in the first generation they used vacuum tubes. In the second generation, vacuum tubes are replaced by transistors. Transistors were smaller, highly reliable, and consumed less electricity and generated less heat. This is how transistors look like, and the second generation computers were made up of transistors. They also contained magnetic core memories were developed during this generation. They are tiny ferrite rings that can be magnetized in either clockwise or anti-clockwise direction so as to represent a binary 1 or binary 0. So this is how a magnetic core which can be used as primary memory. So in this magnetic core there is tiny ferrite rings. So each ring is either rotated anti-clockwise or in clockwise direction to represent the binary digits 0 and 1, because the data is to be stored in this primary memory in the form of binary digits. So magnetic cores were used as the primary memory like our RAM and ROM. Later, magnetic disk also came into existence and were used as secondary storage devices. Like this, like our hard disk, magnetic disk came into existence in second generation. All these new developments like transistors, magnetic core memory, magnetic disk storage devices made the computers more powerful and reliable. This further led to the existence of operating system. So operating systems were also developed in the second generation, and programming languages like Fortran and COBOL, ALGOL, etc. were developed. So in the first generation, programming language were machine level language. In the second generation, they started using Fortran and COBOL. Then commercial applications of the computer increased, and now the computers were used in business and industries for applications like payroll, employee management, inventory control, etc. IBM 1401 and IBM 1620 are popular computers of that generation. This is how the second generation computer look like. It is smaller than that of the first generation computer. Let us see the salient features of second generation computers. Second generation computer used transistor based technology, were smaller and less expensive as compared to first generation, and they consumed less electricity and emitted less heat. Magnetic core memories and magnetic disk were used as primary memory and secondary storage respectively. That is, magnetic core memory was used as primary memory and magnetic disk were used as secondary storage memory. Then in the second generation, the first operating system was developed. Then programming in assembly language was started, and in the later part, high level languages were used. Assembly language was started during the first generation itself, and it continued in the second generation also, and at the end of the second generation they started high level programming languages. Then wider commercial use, but commercial production was still difficult. They also required constant air conditioning because it also emitted heat. Examples are IBM 1401, IBM 1620, UNIVAC 1108. Next is third generation computers. It were during the period 1964 to 1975. In 1964, the integrated circuits or ICs or chips revolutionized the electronic industry and started the third generation of computers. So in the third generation, the integrated circuits were used. In the first generation they used vacuum tubes, in the second generation they used transistors, and in the third generation they used integrated circuits or ICs. An IC is a small silicon chip or wafer made up of extremely purified silicon crystals. This is how an IC look like. This IC contains numerous transistors, capacitors and resistors embedded into it. Even though it looks like small, it contains transistors, large number of transistors, capacitors and resistors into it. The size of the memory is also increased in the third generation computers. Various mainframe computers and mini computers were developed during this generation. Even operating systems with multitasking and multi-programming features were developed. Since ICs made the computers highly reliable, relatively inexpensive and faster, computers these days were found in the areas of education, small businesses and offices, along with industrial and business applications. IBM 360 was a popular third generation computer. Salient features of third generation computers. They used integrated circuits. Computers were smaller, faster and more reliable. Low power consumption and less emission of heat as compared to previous generations. Examples are IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series. Next is the fourth generation computers from 1975 onwards. It used large-scale integration (LSI) and very large-scale integration (VLSI) technology, which used up to 3 lakh transistors were used in a single chip. This is how a VLSI chip look like, and it contains more than up to 3 lakh transistors embedded in a single chip. So thus integration of complete CPU on a single chip was achieved in 1971 and was named microprocessor, which marked the 4th generation of computers. So in 4th generation microprocessor was launched. The computers based on microprocessor technology had faster accessing and processing speed. In addition to this, the increased memory capacity further made the computers more powerful, and more efficient operating systems were developed for these computers. The computers that we use today belong to this 4th generation. These computers are portable computers. That is, these computers can be carried from one place to other because of their smaller size. Commercial production of these computers is easier, and they are the least expensive compared to the earlier generation of computers. Salient features of 4th generation computers. They replaced ICs with LSI and VLSI technology. ICs were used in 3rd generation computers, and it is replaced by LSI and VLSI technology in 4th generation. And microprocessors were developed in 4th generation. Then the computers were portable. Networking and data communication became popular. Networking means connecting one computer to other. Different types of secondary memory with high storage capacity and fast access were developed, and the computers developed were very reliable, powerful and small in size. Then the computers used negligible power consumption, and negligible heat were generated, and they were very less production cost. Production cost for 4th generation computers were very less. Next is 5th generation computers. 5th generation computers are still under development. This generation is based on the concept of artificial intelligence. This concept is based on robots. In simple terms, the computers of this generation are supposed to behave like human beings. The principle of parallel processing, that is, a single task is broken down into smaller tasks and given to large number of processors. So at the same time, a task is processed by different processors. Like in movie capturing, for editing movies, this parallel processing is used. And in superconductivity, for weather forecasting, they used superconductivity, are being used to develop devices that respond to human languages. It will have the ability to apply previously gained knowledge to execute a task. They will let them make decisions of their own to execute a task. Some applications like voice recognition, visual recognition are a step in this very direction. Salient features of 5th generation computers are parallel processing, superconductivity, artificial intelligence. Next is data and information. Although the two words are similar, but they have different meanings. First of all, we know what is a computer. Computer is an electronic device that processes the input according to the set of instructions provided to it and gives the desired output at a very fast rate. That is, we provide the input to the computer. That input we provide through the input devices is called data. And the CPU processes this data and produces the output through output devices. So this processed data is called information, and the raw data that we give to the computer is called data, and after processing, data becomes information. So data is the term used for raw facts and figures. For example, 134 plus 9 Raju C are data. Information means data represented in useful and meaningful form is information. In simple words, we can say that data is the raw material that is processed to give meaningful, ordered or structured information. For example, Raju is 9 years old is a information that we get from this data. Okay, thank you.